6th-12th. My name is Bryndis. I'm an energy healer, abundance coach, and personal business mentor, specifically for people who are in the healing business and who want to, link themselves into more abundance. We are looking at the crypto sphere here, the crypto currency market, as one of the representations of new energies coming in, of market sentiment playing out into our personal abundance, and perhaps even showing us ways how we can out-vibrate the collective, the matrix, the banking system, the existing financial systems. So what we offer here is a new way of contextualizing this information that is coming through all of us, really, in our sentiment, in our collective sentiment. And those of you who've been following me for all these years know that I do a collective energy update. I've done this this morning here from transCODES, our new outdoor office. And there I reflect on what these sentiments are and how they affect our personal life. In the crypto spiritual update, I take all this data and transpose it over into the market sentiment based on, this personal effect that these collective energies have. It typically also affects our decision-making process, and less and less, though, as we have been finding out, as financial institutions are holding the majority here of the market capitalization. This market sentiment is still driven, and probably always be, just like the stock market, by personal experiences and personal views. But there's also a big percentage, guys, and this is something I wanted to talk to you guys about today, that is actually driven by investment bots, by trading software, so to speak. And there's certain markers, that can trip specific, shorting signals or longing signals, or the signal to invest into something. And you got to understand this. This has nothing to do with the good guys or the bad guys. This has nothing to do with us or the crypto market being manipulated. This is just the way this goes in the financial world. Okay, so if you ignore the fact that there's all these trading platforms actually offer these trading tools, which are based on technical analysis, then you're kind of missing the reality of this whole sphere. Now, we have different perspectives on which we can look at the cryptosphere here. We can look at it as a disruptive tool. We can look at it as a hedging tool, for a looming financial collapse. We can also look at it as a revolutionary new sort of technology that is bringing forward or paving the way for, sort of radical innovations in many areas of life. And I think if you look at the cryptosphere, as a mixture of all of this, and you pick the part, that speaks to you the most. There's a lot of people in this sort of intuitive area interested in the crypto market, simply because there's this looming collapse of the old system, or the old paradigm that we're feeling. And the crypto market here offers sort of a sneak peek into the new paradigm. But it cannot be the answer, obviously, to all of the changes that we're going to go through collectively here in the process of, evolving societies and evolving collective consciousness. Okay? And it's starting to rain here now, so I hope we can continue with our life update. I may have to move indoors. Looks like we have outer interference here again. Okay, so this is a risk of, to do this outside. This crypto spiritual update is life, and therefore we can experience those surprising interferences. Let me pause the video here for just a sec, guys, and move the camera and everything inside. I'll be back here in 30 seconds.
But there's some cows too, I guess.
Welcome back to the Crypto Spiritual Energy Update. So I had to adjust to the outer circumstances here. All right, so what are we looking at here? We're looking at the market from the perspective of someone who wants to see this or keep an eye on sort of these financial developments and maybe foreboding, some of the decisions, or, helping you in making decisions in regards to maybe a new business idea that you want to implement, or, investments that you want to make, or the decision whether you want to retire or not. Those can all be the kinds of decisions that can be influenced through looking at the financial markets from a larger perspective. Okay, we also have a pretty active crypto calibration group, as we call it, and in this work group we are testing crypto companies, crypto influencers, and also some of the apps that we know from the crypto sphere, such as wallets and exchanges, but also dApps, that sort of coming forward here into our awareness based on their integrity level. So what we are trying to provide here is not a financial advice. This would be far from it. We're trying to give you a reflection on the sentiment, okay? And then, if you are an investor or a trader, you can take this and use this, to come to your own conclusion. But, you have to, of course, always, provide the due diligence for your own research and your own sort of decision-making process. Yes, so none of us here in the crypto calibration group are financial advisors, and most of us don't even know what it is that we are testing. So this is part of the integrity that we're trying to show here, is that this has nothing to do with what we believe about a company or a product. Most of us don't even know it. And I want to look at the crypto market here real quick, as I've always done, just to give you an overview where we're at. Pretty much big sideways movements here since the last 2 months. We're not really moving anywhere. The Bitcoin price hovers between 6.4, 6.5. It goes up a little, then goes lower like this. So From a technical analysis point of view, the Bitcoin price, as sort of the pull horse for the entire crypto sphere, has reached a 20-month low. And it also, and this is actually very interesting, has reached the lowest level of volatility, lowest levels of volatility here that it has ever had, at least within the last 2 years. And so, people who are programming these trading bots and trading tools within the software, what they see, based on sort of statistics. So this is all, like Bollinger movements, or the candlesticks and all that the interpretation of these things is all based on empirical data. So it's not a fact, it's just an empirical experience. So whenever then, okay. So as far as the situation is concerned that we're looking at right now, this technical analysis says that if Bitcoin reaches a level of 6,800, then a breakout is possible. But the breakout that is possible could go into both directions. It can go low and it can go high. Some of you, are interested in, like a bit more what they think is woo-woo, and you may have watched the Farsight project, who are using remote viewing techniques to predict, these breakouts, these high and low breakouts, and it's a very, very interesting, the results that they're coming up. If you haven't done so and you're interested in remote viewing and how this could be applied to the crypto market, then check out the Farsight YouTube channel. Also check out Crypto Viewer. You guys are doing a fantastic job, like sort of bringing this general awareness of how we all sort of carry parts of the overall information in us. Okay, and from my point of view, remote viewing is a normal technology. Okay, everybody can learn this. Some of us are, a bit more natural at it than others, but there's a clear protocol to it, and this is something that allows you to learn to tap into, these more precognitive aspects that are more in your subconscious. So energy code work is very similar, although we're not using remote viewing protocols for it. So it uses a different way of getting the data, but interestingly, the data is relatively simple. So we're looking at the same thing here, just in a different way. Anyway, this breakout at 6,800, is can lead to a breakout, a bullish breakout. When the prices suddenly go high, and this is what most of us are, wanting to happen, especially those who've been in the crypto market for a while, especially if you, bought, your first cryptos last year in December or in January, you're desperately waiting for this because you bought at like 19,000. So don't worry, guys, okay? One of the two is going to happen, okay? This is not a prediction. But from an energetic point of view, okay, so what we are getting in right now here, what we can read out in the energy fields of hundreds of people that come to sessions with us every week, okay, is that this that right now the cryptocurrency market is experiencing a quickening. This is happening on the whole collective level. It's also happening in a political level, in many different areas in our lives, and it can lead to either or. It can lead to the total collapse of things, power structures, or relationships, or job assignments, or whatever, that are no longer conducive or no longer true for you. But it can also lead to a really cool renewal of your commitment. It can lead to a really cool sort of breakthrough, in finally, fully devoting yourself to this. So those clients of mine whom I do mentor coaching with, business coaching, I've given the signal here to be really, really consequential in this whole entire month of October, to really commit yourself to what it is that you want to do. Look back to March. What were some of the false hopes, false dreams? What were some of the things that you didn't fully implement, just sort of half-assed? Okay, these things all need to be corrected. But this is the time here now, when we look back maybe in 2 years or 5 years from now, where we will see that in retrospect, that this is the time of the quickening, where just sort of new life force is being infused into the crypto market. So if you were asking me, it can go high and low, but because I'm a hopeless optimist, for me, this is the time, to reinvest and to really, sort of make some corrections. There was a few altcoins that I invested in that fascinated me due to their technology and so forth. This is my personal thing. I can get really I'm a sucker for technology. But when it comes to how can this provide for my family, how can this produce sort of financial abundance for myself, I cannot really go by this. So I've seen this many, many times, that the company with the best technology, or the best people involved, is not always the company that actually wins, if you will, that actually in the end survives the whole thing. So with the crypto integrity ratings, we're bringing in sort of 3 different aspects of a crypto company, say, or a token, as I call this. We're looking at the performance of the token, then we're looking at the people and the leadership behind it, and then we look at the technology and the white paper, and then we calculate the mean out of this. Only because there is no way of saying, just because a crypto company has a very high integrity level, say based on the people and the leadership, this isn't a guarantee that this token is going to perform really well. So we're going to have to test the integrity of this token or this company against something, okay? And you will see this here. I'm not explaining the numerical scale that we are using again, but I can tell you that we are looking for a value of 200 or above. Why 200? The foundation is Dr. Hawkins's calibrated scale of consciousness. That's a scale from 0 to 1,000, and 200 is the threshold of truth. In other words, it's the threshold of when things are real. Okay, there's no hidden agenda, say. All right. This doesn't always mean that it's good, and doesn't mean that it's a guarantee that this company or this token is going to do phenomenal. But what we can't see, though, in comparison to the cryptosphere as such, which calibrates at 193, which is below truth, okay? This is something we all know. It is based on the old financial paradigm, introducing a new paradigm, but obviously, still run by, at least in the majority, by the same people. And so, for the cryptosphere to calibrate higher, a different agenda would be needed. So we have to keep an eye and retest the cryptosphere as such. But we're basically testing a token against the crypto market, which calibrates at 193. So when you see a company calibrating at 193, this may still mean that they have a different agenda, that they're not fully integrous, but at least it could tell you that this token is going to do better than the rest of the crypto market. So it has a higher vibratory rate and can therefore sustain. It can therefore transcend or maybe outlast dips, and can is decoupled from the entire cryptosphere. We tested Bitcoin, obviously, and this is very important, and Bitcoin tests at 199. Okay, so even though in from the marketing perspective, Bitcoin is the pole horse for the cryptocurrency, it's not the up there. Okay, but this is if you will, the origin, and therefore Bitcoin will always calibrate, at least for as long as the crypto sphere as such calibrates lower, sort of be the pole horse. In our attempt here to deliver you a picture that maybe looks a little different than the top 20, top 50 here on coinmarketcap.com. What we want to show is that at this point, there's no way of telling. All we know is that 95% of these tokens, of these cryptocurrencies are not going to make it. But we are sort of trying to give you a comparison here, and that can help you to determine which of these companies may outlast these next 2 years, where there's going to be a lot of correction. Okay, so look for those companies at least 193 or higher. That means they're doing a little better than the rest of the crypto market, but ideally 200 and up. Okay, so when we do this, in a few minutes here, you will see that, and this never ceases to amaze us here in the Crypto Spiritual Group, that we get results that are completely, utterly different from how we thought they would be. So this is the fun part here for us, because it's all, of course, very experimental, and there is no way to prove this, until we have long-term data. But the integrity ratings for some companies are extremely surprising. So we have 3 tokens that we're going to test for you today, 1 exchange and 1 wallet. But before we get there, I want to, just throw in one more aspect here of looking at the crypto markets right now, October 6th till October 12th. There's a lot of talk about the good guys and the bad guys, the dark and the light, and how, everything crypto, and, everything blockchain, and trying to, sort of disrupt the original or the old paradigm of finances as good guys. Okay, this is a major, major misconception, because just because something, sort of attacks the dark, attacks, something that is non-integrous, it doesn't automatically make it more integrous. Guys, got to be very, very careful there. This has to do with the consciousness level of the person who looks at it, and of course the conscious level of what you're looking at. So a company with a very high conscious level can be extremely disruptive, and devastating for the competition, for instance, and can create a lot of havoc in a market. But then again, a company with a very high consciousness level can also miserably fail, because, it is not necessarily the best, how can I say, predisposition, to trying to be integrous in a market or in an environment where the majority of people, if not all of them, are non-integrous. So if you try to make a contract or an agreement with someone who is non-integrous, and I always use this example of trying to make a peace treaty with Hitler, then it is naive to expect that he would keep this. And this is the problem when you come in with a higher conscious level. So your higher consciousness level may make you strive for peace and for, people collaborating and synergy, and, more environmentally friendly paradigm, more heart-based paradigm, and so forth. But quite frankly, at this very moment, and this is also why so many people, laugh about people like us who talk in that way, the overall conscious level of the collective is just not high enough to even be able to connect with these higher vibratory goals. And so you've got to be realistic. You've got to stay realistic with what you're dealing with, okay? If you're dealing with a tiger, okay, it doesn't matter, that you want, all animals and all people to live together in peace. If the tiger has the opportunity, or this animalistic part in him or her gets triggered, he's going to eat you. Okay? So you got to understand this. This is the feeling of what non-integrity means, what non-integrous means, what below 200 means. Okay? So it's not automatically good or bad. The tiger isn't evil because, it acts upon its divine nature. All right. So this is, some of the philosophical aspect that comes in with looking at the consciousness level of things. All right, so enough talk. Let's move to the token integrity rating. And by the way, we're live. And yes, I can see you. I can see Germany. I can see Canada. Nope, that's it. So guys, let me know what kind of tokens you want us to test, what kind of companies, influencers maybe. We have, I think, a list of 150 ratings. They're all grouped and shown in the Crypto Spirit Facebook page. And if you are part of our Crypto Spiritual Facebook group, then you get this sort of delivered into your home, every week. And we're working towards, doing more comparative studies, also adding other aspects here to our rating, this Crypto Spiritual group, which consists of a bunch of fantastic energy workers and healers and remote viewers and psychics. It's getting better and better every week. So we just had a discussion about how we can extend this, to movies and books and things that are sort of conducive for our journey. But all this, of course, has to be financed. All this has to be run here from from within, basically my own time and the resources that transCODES gives us. And I'm not monetizing these videos, so please, forgive me if we are sometimes late with the edited version or whatever until I implement something like a Patreon account or get enough donations to hire more people. It's all gonna be a little sort of raggedy sometimes. Okay, so the first token that we have tested for you today was Scroll. This was a recommendation from you guys. It's a relatively new token out there. It is a data storage token. A few weeks back we talked about the different kinds of tokens and sort of the classification of them. So this is the kind of token class that is actually really interesting here for the future. I had very high hopes for Scroll because I like the company. I like the way they are promoting their technology, and their like most crypto startups is still in all this developmental stage, and what they want to offer is, or what they want to produce here is an in-house data security architecture. They want to set new standards. There's a typo here. New standards for security within companies, how you can permanently store your digital data, not just your personal, also as a company, on a blockchain. Looking at the test values here, the token itself with 187 calibrates below 193, below the cryptocurrency overall conscious level, and therefore probably isn't going to do that well. However, the token is also, it's not just a way of funding a company, it's also most likely comes with a utility. And so it may be that the outspoken sort of agenda here is not, to drive the price of the token in these high heights. However, as for funding purposes, we all want to see, of course, an increase there. We want that a token beats the overall development. So this is hard to tell. With 187, it's a bit too low. The team with 188, guys, 188 is roughly around, where bankers, where sort of the traditional old paradigm thinking is located. Has to do with greed, has to do with, pride as well. So it's not a judgment, about the leadership. It's just like really sort of normal, normal, quote unquote, what we can expect in the financial markets. The technology here with 191, guys, this is something I like to look at. It seems a bit low for me, okay, because it's also, testing sort of coherence of the white paper and the overall product or project strategy. With 191, that's a little low, a little too low, guys. So an overall rating here of 187 for Scroll is, we're gonna have to see. They're still in the developmental stage, so it's hard to tell if this all can be corrected with updates, with getting all the programmers in, getting, forming their team and so forth. Next up is Bitcoin. Bitcoin has been around for a little longer than Scroll. Most people know it. It's a privacy coin. So basically, it's a currency that allows you to do transactions that cannot be traced. And yes, this has always been a sort of a controversial type of topic here amongst the cryptocurrency communities, because one of the big pluses of blockchain is that you can create a ledger here that stays there forever. But of course, this doesn't mean that there isn't a use and also a necessity sometimes to keep some transactions private. If you just think of it from a government point of view, or business research and development data and so forth. So there's a place for privacy coins, and we looked at a few in the past already. Bitcoin tries to, or initially tried to really be sort of the big, player here amongst, those privacy coins such as Dash, Zcash, Monero. And, I'm not feeling it, to be honest with you, okay? So with this token, I wasn't really so surprised about the rating. So the token itself with 192, means that it will be just do okay compared to the entire cryptosphere. The team with 186 is similar to what I just said about Scroll. There is the motivation is, based on making money. There's nothing wrong with this, but if you were expecting a company to have this sort of oomph, to have this innovator spunk, I don't think you'll find that here. It's not very visionary. And the technology, the project, the white paper itself with 191. 191 is always a little too low for me personally. So we get to an overall rating here of 190, and this isn't trustworthy enough. Okay, so it's an okay token, but there are others that look much better, in that very same segment of Bitcoin. So sorry if this feels a bit sad when I say these things, but again, this is not a judgment, and especially not my personal opinion. And sometimes I do have a personal opinion, and I will let you know, because we have one of those integrity ratings here today where I do have a personal opinion. Next up is Electroneum, and Electroneum is one of those heavily community-driven coins. It's also in its purpose itself as a mobile currency and payment ecosystem. So, we could see, at least this is what it's striving for. Electroneum basically being the main sort of interface between us and paying in any store, or paying anything or rent or whatever. So sort of as an not just ecosystem, but also like an intermediary. Okay, it also offers a wallet. And one of the things that I really, really love about Electroneum is that it offers mobile mining. Okay, so you can actually use your smartphone, to mine cryptocurrencies. Now, those of you who know what is involved in this, you may not want your phone to do this, especially if you kind of use it as a hardware wallet as well. So let's see how Electroneum is doing. I think it's going to do well, even though the token only calibrates at well, not only calibrates at 199. It's like Bitcoin, you know, it's higher than the crypto sphere itself. It's not all the way up there, so we do want to see something above 200, but it's pretty, you know, high up there. And with 196, I have to mention this just based on the experience that we've made here with the crypto spiritual group, is that you know, 196 is pretty high up there. Okay, this is pretty close to Integris, pretty close to a team that is really trustworthy. So I want to point this out. It's a lot harder to form a team that calibrates, you know, around the 200 mark than to produce a white paper that Integris that calibrates around the 200 mark. Okay, there's also a lot of fluctuation, obviously, but when the leadership and the core team of a company calibrates high or higher, you know, then the people that they attract into their company is also higher. You know, in my function as owner and co-founder of Crypto Staffer, where we help to match up people, you know, employees and companies, you know, by utilizing these integrity ratings. Okay, this can make a huge difference for you, you know, if you are aspiring, or if you are trying to decide if you want to work for a company that calibrates below 200 or above 200. Anyway, coming back to Electroneum, yes, and the technology calibrates at 194. I'm seeing, or you know, and the other testers did too. There's a need for updates. There's a need for, you know, obviously more refinement of the product. But this could actually be an interesting token here. So keep an eye on Electroneum. I'm giving it my thumbs up. You know, it has a really good sort of markers here that show us that we're not only dealing with, you know, something that could last, but also something that you know, brings in sort of this visionary spunk, as I mentioned earlier. So next up, our nope, wrong slide here. No, this was already our third token, Electroneum. So next up, our wallet integrity rating. Yes, and this is what I have been waiting for here for quite a while. We are testing Pillar today, but not Pillar as a token, Pillar as a wallet. As many of you know, I was one of these first promoters of Pillar, Pillarista, or whatever you want to call this. You know, as sort of the epitome for me for this sort of re-emerging talent, you know, and intelligence that I've seen come forward 35 years ago in the early days of the internet. You know, this Pillar is a company like this for me, and I know the ideals are very high, and it will probably be hard to match up with this in sort of 3D, you know, in the integrity aspect of this, in the integration aspect, you know, where you have to find people, you know, where you have to, you know, build a team, build a whole company structure that allows sort of for this higher consciousness level to manifest. Okay, so if I look at Pillar, you know, as a wallet, I can see that there has been a little bit of a drop in the team itself, but we are not looking at Pillar, the company. We're looking at the wallet that is currently still in beta testing, should be released here pretty soon. What is so interesting about Pillar? It has some very, very cool features, guys. I hope that I will be able to go into detail one day and actually demonstrate the wallet or any other of the wallets as well, you know. But as you know, this is not my primary job here to do interviews or something. But you know, the Pillar is a community-driven company, and so you'll find a lot of videos and a lot of sort of explanations, a lot of really cool recommendations for the crypto market itself. You know me, I've spoken about David Siegel, the CEO, before, and I'm a big fan of you, David, so thank you for sharing all your resources with us. You know, this has been an amazing journey for those people who came new to the crypto sphere here without any of this technological background. So anyway, the Pillar wallet itself has some really great technological features, and I will try to keep this as non-technical as possible for you. But what you're going to see here is a wallet that will work on your smartphone, that you can use, you know, for many different things than just buying or trading cryptocurrency. So it's ERC20 token based. So yes, there will be, you know, this you can store all your ERC20 tokens, your Ethereum based tokens on there. It functions like a hardware wallet, but there's also other things that come with this. You won't need to go to a centralized exchange if you want to trade or if you want to buy any cryptocurrencies. You can do the, you know, the KYC process for if you want to participate in an ICO through Pillar. You know, other wallets offer this as well. But then you also have a safe encryption for texting. And something that, you know, we will have to see, reminds me a little bit of what Telegram tries to do, you know, to create, you know, sort of a decentralized peer-to-peer communication. So you can also, you know, use this as your sort of private channel, you know, to other people, send files from your phone and back. So it can be your hardware wallet, your crypto hardware wallet, but it can also be your hardware wallet for certain files, or for you know, sharing this in a safe way, a secure way with others. So the integrity rating here with 203 for the wallet function itself is what we're looking for, guys. This is visionary, okay? So there's something new here. There's something, you know, that sticks out, you know, that will make this product, this wallet, more interesting for us than others. The people, the organization with 196, you know, is pretty much up there. I mentioned here just in a brief comment that, you know, maybe there has been a little bit of shifting around, because you know, in May we did a integrity rating on the token itself, and there the team calibrated at 202. You know, this doesn't actually mean that there has been shifts and changes in the leadership. This can also mean, because we're testing the wallet, so we're testing, you know, specifically the team that is involved with the wallet development. But you know, overall, you know, with 196, this is still pretty high, and something that you really want with a wallet or an exchange is its safety calibrates above truth, you know, above 200. With 201, you know, this will be a safe wallet, an integrous wallet, and so an overall rating of 200 here for the Pillar wallet is not a surprise for me. However, with all the experiences that we've made in the past, I wasn't so sure, you know, how this is going to go. And I also want to be neutral and fair here. We've tested the Ethos wallet in the same stage. And, you know, here you can see that we come into an overall rating of 191, which is lower. But, you know, the wallet itself with 195 is up there. Okay, so it'd be nice, you know, it will be a user-friendly and, you know, like sort of positive experience for us. We'll like it, we'll like the features. But the team calibrates lower, and also the technology, the safety of the product. However, you know, I mean, in general, 191, you know, is kind of like sort of a Me Too type of thing, you know, it's just okay. But for a wallet or an exchange, and even though I like the Ethos wallet, you know, I really like it. And I've also invested in Ethos, so, you know, there's a, you know, for me, an interest, of course, that Ethos is going to do well. But as a wallet, not as a token, you know, we got to differentiate this. I may end up using the Pillar wallet. You know, so here you can see how these different ratings can be somewhat confusing sometimes, but in the end you're going to have to ask yourself, you know, when you look at you know, a token, what are you looking at? Are you looking at the product that they're providing? Are you looking at how well is this token going to do as an investment? Are you going to look at you know, how well is this company going to do, you know, sort of in the overall market, and say in a perspective maybe of 10 or 20 years, you know, because there's also, of course, a part in us that wants to find, you know, the future Apple, the future Amazon, the future, you know what I mean, you know, the treasure hunter in us, okay? So that would be, you know, in the 200s, if that were the case, and higher. Last but not least, here is our rating for exchanges, and we've picked Bitforex. You know, a lot of people, you know, sort of have opinions about Bitforex. It's one of those, you know, sort of banker type of exchanges, and so it's not very popular amongst sort of the hardcore grassroots crypto community. But you know, it is you know, a big and safe you know, exchange. It has backing of most of the large financial institutions. It has a lot of crypto intelligence celebrities in there. So they claim to be the leader in digital currency trading. I don't know if that is true, but if I look at the rating here, and then what comes forward is that the actual exchange, okay, the safety aspect, you know, which is of course for most of us the big interest. The reason why Bitforex has a negative rep is because of the fees involved, okay, the trading fees. But it's a centralized exchange. But with 193, you know, the safety of this exchange calibrates right there where the entire crypto market calibrates. All right. So just so you know, it may not be safer than other, you know, exchanges, but it's up there. And the one thing though that I really like about Bitforex is that it, even though you may think, oh, this is just sort of all bankers there and all, you know, yes, but you know what? This organization actually calibrates on 200. It calibrates on truth. It calibrates on integrity. Okay, this is way higher than most of the other exchanges that we've tested. So with an overall rating of 197, you know, Bitforex is up there. There's not many other exchanges, you know, and I've explained this in the past. Why? Because it has to do with the business segment itself. You know, it's obviously based on greed. But it calibrates up there, okay? So, you know, with, you know, this, you know, suggestion here, and if you are okay with the fees, and if you are okay that it kind of feels like a bank, you know, some people just feel better when they use a bank, you know, when they feel this sort of, you know, solidity behind it. However, don't let this, you know, make you become naive, okay? It's only as safe as, you know, some of the blockchain technology currently is, okay? So it's integrous, it's thumbs up. And this concludes sort of my endless stream of talking here. I see you guys live. Yes, and I see your, yes, exactly, on these. So there's a but with it, okay? But if you go to the Facebook for Crypto Spirit and look at all the other exchanges that we've tested on the, and you'll see that this is actually up there. Okay, there's only 2 others, you know, that are up there with Bitforex. Okay, so guys, I hope this you know, helped you to look at things a little differently. I apologize for the technical issues that we had with the rain and the lawn guy, so I'm gonna have to cut this out in the edited version. Please smash the like button, ask questions, make suggestions, okay? And join the Crypto Spiritual Facebook group. That's where we can discuss things. That's where a lot of other aspects, you know, of the crypto spiritual or crypto market, you know, can be illuminated. Thank you so much for coming. Hope to see you next week. Oh, and just so you know, stay tuned for the live stream time. You know that we've moved our office, and I have to find the right time when it's the best timing to do this without all these outer interruptions. So I'm not sure yet if I'm going to try at 2:30 again, either earlier or later. Thank you. Bye bye, everyone.